Hey everybody, this is Northern Life. We have Briggs and Ryan here on this wonderful Thursday afternoon, so thank you so much for joining us. Very close to the weekend here. A lot of rain over the past few days. In the first time in 11 years of owning a vehicle, today I locked my keys in my car when I got to work today. So as we speak right now, which by the way, this was recorded yesterday, as you guys all know at home, so don't go trying to steal my car. Hopefully it's resolved by the time this airs. There is a truck out on the street with the keys in the ignition. I don't know how it locks with the keys in the ignition.
Oh, that's probably why it locked, right?
No, normally cars are smarter, and this is like a 2014 car, so you'd think that it would be smart enough. The keys are in the ignition. It shouldn't be able to lock, you would think.
What are you going to do?
I called my girlfriend, and she has some AAA service that she might be able to help me out with, or I might have to call a locksmith. So might have to end up doing that and paying the whatever it is to do that. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully by this time tomorrow it is resolved, so nobody steals my truck.
AAA came to help me with something similar once, and they had this thing that they like kind of worked into your window a little bit, and they like pumped it up, so your window kind of started coming down inch by inch. But my window, I think, was like slightly open. Sure. So I don't know if your window has to be slightly open to do that.
I hope not. I hope that's because that sounds like a cheap way to fix it, right?
Yeah,
Probably.
It was quick too.
Okay.
Very quick.
Well, yeah, hopefully.
If all else fails, I'll help you break your window.
Brian's got the baseball bat. Yeah, that'd be kind of awesome.
Could be kind of
some rocks, I'm sure.
There we go.
Could be a fun shoot.
Exactly.
We'll record something for Northern Life.
There we go.
Like coming up on the Today Show, no broken windows, but we will be meeting a chiropractor who isn't just taking care of humans, but rather animals, including a giraffe who needs some help due to a chewing problem.
Oh, so sweet. We're also going to be celebrating a major milestone for an all-time children's classic, one of my favorites. And we'll take a look at some of the horses that are getting ready for the Kentucky Derby this weekend.
Nay.
Nay indeed. Nay and hay.
Is right. Well, we were talking about it yesterday, but today is the big Pancake Day over at the DECC in Duluth. You can get tickets in advance or at the door, and they're open until 7:30 p.m. And to celebrate, here's a video of Hunter going up against our former meteorologist, Peter Kevakowskis, in a little pancake flipping competition. I believe this was during our morning show a few years ago, and you lost, Hunter? Is that right?
I dropped it on the ground. I don't even know. I got too cocky. I flew too close to the sun is what happened. Little Icarus story, you know. So started throwing the pancake up really, really high, and Peter eventually won because I ended up throwing mine on the ground, and no one wants to eat a pancake that's been on the ground.
Well, I believe Peter is from Vermont?
Yes.
I say Vermont, aren't they big on maple syrup? Isn't that a thing? So I feel like Peter maybe had the upper hand. Maybe he's done this plenty of times before.
You're saying he's got the inside of the pancake flipping business.
I think maybe he's done it as a kid. I'm not sure. We'll have to reach out to him and see if there's more behind the scenes.
They're born with a flipper. They just go in and start flipping right out of the,
I remember this was like quite the back and forth between you guys. Who was going to win beforehand?
It was. There was like a week before. We're like, you're going down, man. It's gonna be go time. And then he ended up winning. So he had the talk and the walk.
And there's video evidence of it now too.
There is forever in the history.
It's even more difficult for Hunter McCullough's terrible day so far. Well, today's big breakfast food day, I was doing some Googling, you guys, and I wanted to get other people's thoughts on what they consider to be the most overrated breakfast foods. And so I found a poll on the website, the radio website, Odyssey, with the top 5 responses. They included items like avocado toast, smoothie bowls, bacon, donuts, and yogurt parfaits as the top 5 most overrated breakfast foods.
Those are all my favorites.
Whoever says bacon needs to be put on an island somewhere. That should be illegal. It's the best food on the planet. It goes with everything. It tastes amazing, even raw, which don't eat it raw, but it's very good.
Did you eat it raw?
I've tried it once or twice. It's not that bad. It's kind of chewy,
Did you get ill?
No, not really.
Very sick?
Just a little sample, and I was all right. So
a little taste, a little nibble.
Yeah, bacon is like the main breakfast meat, though. Yeah. So I was surprised to see that on the list for sure. Smoothie bowls, kind of like an acai bowl. That is one of my favorite things when I'm feeling a fancy breakfast. If you're like out, somewhere tropical. Sure. Not that I go somewhere tropical that often, but when I do, I make sure to find myself a smoothie bowl.
Also, I don't know about the popularity of yogurt parfaits. I know the only time I usually hear yogurt parfaits is when Donkey talks about it in the movie Shrek. That's like the only time I hear about yogurt parfaits.
I've never had one for sure. I don't think I could name one that is really bad, like a bad breakfast food that I don't like. I'll eat anything. Right. Do you guys have like one that you hate?
I would say not hate, but I think overrated personally, hash browns. I think hash browns are a little overrated.
Oh, man.
I like breakfast potatoes.
Okay.
I'm a big breakfast potatoes guy.
Yeah, I really can't think of anything overrated. I just eat whatever's in front of me.
Yeah,
I made a really good breakfast like egg bake over the
Whoa.
weekend too. It involved some croissants. It was very good.
Impressive.
Yeah, very, very good.
All right.
So anything and everything for breakfast, I'll take it. If you're in the mood for a little sweet treat tonight, maybe Culver's is offering a single scoop of their fresh frozen custard for just $1. That's only happening today, and that's because today is their 10th annual Scoops of Thanks Day. The donations go to local agriculture education initiatives, all part of the chain's Thank You Farmers project. You can either make the donation through the Culver's website or on the Culver's app. And very cool. Speaking of bacon, too, our Superior Culver's ended up winning that bacon contest amid all the Culver's restaurants across the nation. They sold the most of the thick cut bacon. So now they get a little cash money from the overarching Culver's folks, and they're going to donate $1,000 to youth sports in the area.
Love
too.
that.
So you can't say that Superior people don't like bacon. They love
That's
their
true.
bacon. They helped out with that cause right
Not
there.
overrated.
Exactly.
Not overrated in Superior. Big congrats to that location. And before we head to break, it is prom season for a lot of high school students, including graduating seniors. And in Rhode Island, seniors at a senior living home there got to relive some glory days. Roughly 120 residents got to take part in a much-awaited evening there, in the food and the donated dresses and hairstyles, courtesy of a nearby high school cosmetology department. Organizers say moments like this that make all the work that went into it well worth it.
That's the sweetest thing ever. They all look like they're having such a great time.
Yeah.
They even had a prom queen and king, I hear.
Really?
I believe the queen at the age of 102 years old.
Whoa.
So you're never too old to win some big awards.
Yeah, I hope they got to have some fun. Very cute. Well, coming up, we're looking at some of the best cuisine that Paris has to offer for the Summer Olympics.
Welcome back, everybody. I cannot believe I missed this yesterday, but I'm glad we are talking about it today. An important day in my life. Back on May 1st, 1999, the animated series and my favorite show ever, SpongeBob Squarepants, debuted on Nickelodeon. That show quickly becoming a favorite among not only kids like me at the time, but young adults as well. It actually, I did not know this, originally premiered as a sneak peek after the Kids' Choice Awards, and SpongeBob now the 4th longest running animated show in the U.S. behind The Simpsons, South Park, and Pokemon.
I had no idea. That's insane. I know for sure all three of us quote this show often. For sure, multiple times a week I'm quoting the show. I love SpongeBob.
It is
the early episodes especially.
I was going to say, it's a thing about life, too. It's like you can communicate with somebody, like the three of us can communicate with each other through SpongeBob quotes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like it's a weird thing that's going on. I had SpongeBob slippers growing up.
Ooh.
I had a SpongeBob radio growing up that was in the shower with me. It was the coolest thing ever. I think I still have that somewhere. I went to Nickelodeon Universe all the time, of course.
Yep, Nickelodeon Universe, super cool, even though I do miss Camp Snoopy.
Love
Camp
Camp
Snoopy
Snoopy.
was cooler
True.
in my opinion.
Rest in peace.
But SpongeBob, was always there for me after school, so big thanks to the creators for putting that on air.
There you go.
My parents had to tell us to stop watching so much SpongeBob because I've probably seen every episode. At least the original stuff.
Seriously?
It's bad. Yeah, it's bad.
It's bad.
And still quote it to this day.
Some of the newer episodes a little tough, but
Yes.
the oldies are the goodies.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, this summer won't just be exciting for viewers of the Olympics in Paris, but it's also going to be a tasty time for athletes, too. More than 500 recipes have been created by several chefs. Some 1,000 employees will be mobilized to provide nearly 40,000 services each day at that cafeteria. It's a big process to feed the 15,000 athletes in the Paris 2024 Olympic Village. I cannot imagine how much food those athletes have to eat to stay ready to go, for their competitions.
Yeah.
I'm also surprised. I wonder how often the athletes eat at that cafeteria because they got to have pretty strict regimens when it comes to their diet, I would think.
Yeah.
I would think.
I believe it also added that it's 24 hours, so they can go whenever, because I'm sure some people's events are at the beginning of the day, some people's events are at the end of the day,
True.
or if they're warming up and training. And I think it said a huge chunk of that, too, is a lot of vegetarian recipes, too, for athletes out there.
That's cool.
Very nice.
Where are the, is it nothing but fancy food? That's all that was in the VO.
Right.
There was no, I don't know, burgers or fries or anything like that. I'm sure athletes don't really eat that kind of stuff,
Right.
but there's no normal food on there to me.
I'd love to know how much chicken, they go through some high protein sort of food like that the athletes just are trying to gobble down.
Pasta?
Before they go,
Is high carbs a thing or something like
Yeah,
that?
a lot of track athletes probably looking for some carbo loading before their big events.
Only the best of the best for the best and the best. And the Saturday marks the fastest 2 minutes in sports. I believe that's what they say for the Kentucky Derby. Horses and jockeys getting their workouts in as they compete at the 150th running of that event. And as for a few of those horses' names, we have Fierceness, Sierra Leone, Catching Freedom, and Forever Young. So post time for the first leg of that Triple Crown event set for 5:57 p.m. on Northern News Now on NBC.
I think they even go as far to call it the best 2 minutes in sports.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
That might be what it is.
love the Kentucky Derby. It's probably also the fastest.
It's also fast.
These horses are incredibly fast. I love watching every year. I do not do any research about the horses themselves and like who's better physically. I just go off their names.
Do you make bets?
Not like not like official bets.
Do you have a bookie, Bridge?
Yeah. I wish, because you could make some serious money if you put some money down on some of those horses. But no, I usually talk about it with my family. We review the names of the horses, and then you pick your favorite horse's name. Like back in the day, I don't know what year this was, but I think Smarty Jones won the Kentucky Derby, and that's been my favorite horse name of all time.
Jones.
Smarty Jones is so cute.
That's a good name.
And then he went out and won, and I picked him because he had the best name, and so therefore that's just what I do now.
And you also won $10,000.
Good job, Briggs.
Against my 6-year-old sister at the time. I'm sure. Pay up, Gates. And Ryan, you got to live out your Kentucky Derby dreams this week. It sounds like, how was that?
How about that? So for a future blindfold we're doing, Hunter brought me to the Veritas Ridge Farm. I also believe the Moonshine Farm, is that correct?
Yeah, it's something along those lines.
Yeah, in between Duluth and Two Harbors. I could be getting the name wrong, so apologies. But I believe we have the picture of it, Seth. Me on top of a horse named Jed. Awesome guy. We were not going Kentucky Derby speeds, and that was totally okay with me. I was happy to be going at a slow pace, but Jed here loves treats. He loves naps. So the two of us connected pretty darn well. So we're excited to show you that blindfold coming up in the future.
He looks so excited to be on TV, Jed.
He was very photogenic. He loved the cameras.
Kept going right up to Seth and Keith and just trying to get in their face, and he really loved the cameras. And then my camera too, when I took it out for the picture right there, he's just looking right at you. He was very photogenic. What a sweet horse.
Yeah. Did you get to do some jumps with Jed?
We did no jumps, but I got up in the stirrups. I'm trying to think of other horse terminology. We had I got to brush Jed, so that was pretty
did
nice.
He like that?
I think he did. I think he did. I was trying to find the right, because the other thing too I didn't really notice about horses, I probably should have, because obviously they have hair.
Right.
They shed a lot. Especially when he took the brush out. There was so much hair that was on that brush, so it was really impressive.
I didn't know that
that's
either.
why they have signs at the laundromat that say "Don't wash horse blankets here."
Are horse blankets a thing?
Yeah,
That's a sign?
it says literally "Don't wash horse blankets." Because there's so much hair on the horse blanket, it'll clog it all up.
Did not even know that was a thing.
I see it all the time.
Weird.
Have to find a horse blanket sometime. Coming up, it's time for an adjustment for the longest neck in the world. Welcome back, everybody. So two things. Kentucky Derby, the best and most exciting 2 minutes in sports.
Cool,
so that was the quote we looked up. Also, the horse blanket. I was, for some reason, imagining the extra horse hair being made into a blanket.
What I thought too.
But I believe it is the blanket they put on horses to keep them warm. So
Just a snuggly little blankie for the horse.
I'm kind of happy to know that it's not a horse, or it's not a blanket made of horse hair.
We're also learning this is a major problem at laundromats all over the United States, apparently. People are bringing in their horse blankets.
We're going to
be
need
an
to
issue.
investigate. Get to the bottom of it.
This will be a future shoot.
Future story.
Exactly. Well, listen, for a chiropractor in Oklahoma, he got a call to come treat a special patient with a lot of neck to adjust.
Yeah, not only does Dr. Joran Whitley work on humans, but he also treats animals too. That's why he was called in to relieve a jaw problem on Jerry the giraffe, who was having an issue chewing.
As Jeannie Moose reports, fortunately, it looks like that house call was indeed a success.
Now lift your head.
If you think adjusting a giraffe's neck would be a pain in the neck, listen for the crack. Here's how this Oklahoma chiropractor describes it.
Being able to work on a giraffe is a chiropractor's dream. I mean, it's the largest neck in the world.
Dr. Joran Whitley was called in because Jerry the giraffe, owned by a private rancher, had a chewing issue.
His jaw was not moving to the left
So Dr. Whitley stuck his neck out trying to adjust Jerry's.
What does it feel like to adjust a giraffe?
Their hair is pokey and their tongues are really slimy. Oh, it's like a short-haired cactus.
Along with his human patients, Dr. Whitley specializes in animals, mainly dogs,
Oh, I heard that.
but also chickens. And after Dr. Whitley adjusted this injured bat, he says it was once again able to climb and hang upside down. He's even adjusted sedated lions. Like this one in South Africa. Skeptics say chiropractic has no basis in science, that there's no proof it works on humans or animals. But Jerry's owner told the Washington Post the giraffe's chewing improved after his adjustment.
Oh, here we go.
And look at that reaction. One commenter called it the look of bliss.
And they're a lot more appreciative, I think, than some of my human patients. And he absolutely loved it. I mean, he was rubbing all over me, but he was licking all over me.
We do not recommend this much necking when showing appreciation to your chiropractor.
Oh my gosh, how about that?
Yeah, my dad was a chiropractor before he retired and doesn't do animals.
No?
But that would have been super cool, I'm sure, to do that.
Apparently a chiropractor's dream of adjusting a giraffe due to the length of the neck.
Didn't know that.
Didn't
That's
know
crazy.
that.
How many discs do you think it has in its neck? Like, that's a lot that you got to go all the way down and adjust
Right.
every single disc.
That seems like a commercial question for Google.
Yeah.
That's true.
Our usual questions we ask Google all the time.
Yep.
But how about that? I'm glad Jerry the giraffe's doing better.
How about that lion, too, that he was
Yeah.
adjusting sedated? I could never even be in the vicinity of that lion, let alone like touching it. I'd be so afraid
Seriously?
of be
Snap
waking
its
up.
back, yeah.
Oh my
Yikes.
gosh.
Well, before we head to break, how about this awesome story? A boy from Wisconsin Rapids just published a children's book helping other kids who are dealing with autism. So Brody Cronstead is the author and co-illustrator of Emotionally Ever After. Brody would frequently write apology letters to others after an episode of overstimulation, and one letter provided a spark for this book and the inspiration for it. Brody says he wants to help other autistic kids by showing them how he feels through all that art.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Way to go, Brody.
Way to go.
Awesome work. Well, when we come back, we have an awesome rescue in Wisconsin to share.
Welcome back, folks. Seth, our astute director, Googled this during the break, and he says that giraffes have 7 vertebrae in their neck. Here's the kicker. Then we're like, well, obviously humans should have a lot less than that, maybe 1 vertebrae, 2 vertebrae, 7 vertebrae. Humans have 7 vertebrae too.
Same with
And
mice.
mice.
So, and mice.
Whales.
Whales.
And whales. So we are similar
How does
to
that
other
work?
species than we think.
We got that giraffe in us.
Yes, we literally have that giraffe in us. Well, if you want more giraffe talk, we might have some more tomorrow, but for sure tomorrow on Northern Life, we have our top 5 lists before the weekend. We'll be sharing our top 5 movies we think you need to watch on a rainy, stay inside type day. Might be one of those this weekend, as a matter of fact. Saturday chance for rain.
Cue up some flicks. And before we go, an animal rescue group in Wisconsin immediately stepped up when they were told about 2 eaglets in danger. The baby bald eagles had fallen 40 feet to the ground in Schofield after the bottom of their nest collapsed. A resident who lived nearby had been keeping an eye on the nest and noticed it had collapsed during a string of storms, so the group picked them up, and the eaglets are now showing every sign of making a full recovery. Very sweet. I love when the Minnesota DNR has their eaglet cam
Yeah.
each spring. That's so fun to watch, too.
Yeah, all
Super
those
fun.
eagles hatching and stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Love to see it. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a great Thursday.
Find some time to throw a line, or just head outside to unwind. That's the life in the great North Woods. Hike or bike, whatever you like. Get out in the day, enjoy the night. Yeah, we got the life in the great North Woods. Yeah, we got the life in the great North Woods. Yeah, this is Northern